This is called Ed Sheeran's Valentine's Day Massacre. It was Henry and Stella's first Valentine's Day. They'd only been together for a few weeks, and Stella had hinted that she'd quite like to be taken to a fancy restaurant for the evening. Henry bristled at the idea. Why pay 80 quid for a menu that would normally cost 30? But eventually, reluctantly, he agreed. The night was everything Henry had dreaded. Every table set up for a couple and decorated with a single red rose, fawning waiters, and sickly romantic music being piped through the restaurant's sound system. Henry had already concluded that Stella was good for only one thing, and after he'd had his fill, he'd move on to his next Tinder victim. Their evening's interaction consisted mainly of Stella's vapid prattle, interspersed with Henry's polite nods and feigned interest. "You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything," he thought to himself, wishing indeed that he could be listening to talking heads instead of the barrage of slushy drivel assaulting his earbuds. Increasingly irritated by Stella's banal conversation, Henry glanced around the room to find other couples gazing lovingly into their mobile phones. Evidently just as bored as he was. Suddenly, Henry recognised the opening bars to the next piece of pap on the playlist. It was the childishly simplistic introduction to the insufferable Ed Sheeran's The Shape of You. Stella cooed, "Ooh, I love this one." Every man has his limits. Henry's eyeballs bulged as he clenched his steak knife ever tighter, his knuckles turning white as snow. Letting out a blood-curdling roar, he leapt to his feet and plunged the blade deep into Stella's neck, causing a torrent of blood to gush out onto the pristine white tablecloth, also adding a smattering of extra colour to Stella's mango, crab and avocado starter, now tragically destined to remain unconsumed. After retracting the knife, Henry lurched across to the next table, violently thrusting the weapon into the chest of a startled woman who he'd seen tapping her fingers to the beat of this heinous crime against music. Now in a frenzy, Henry careered around the room, attacking every woman in sight, until the knife became lodged in his final victim's ribcage. By now, terrified shrieks and screams had given way to a petrified silence, allowing Sheeran's pathetic, simpering voice to become audible once again, just where he gets to the bit where he goes, "I'm in love with your body, oh I, oh I, oh I." Naturally overcome by a new surge of violent fury, Henry grabbed a large marble ornament from the counter and brought it crashing down towards the head of the nearest diner. The man suffered only a glancing blow and, still conscious, looked up pleadingly at his attacker. "Please, hit me again, I can still hear him." At the ensuing trial, the restaurant proprietors were sentenced to 20 years for incitement to murder, with the judge adding that if they played Galway Girl instead, they would have got life without parole. Although Henry was found guilty of murder, the judge concluded that the overwhelming mitigating circumstances would have led any reasonable man to act in a similar fashion. Accordingly, Henry was sentenced to complete 3 days of community service, but also instructed to carry a pair of noise-cancelling headphones on his person at all times, in case of an unexpected outbreak of Sheeran. Meanwhile, Ed Sheeran himself remains at large. Where is the justice in that?